Hi class, so this is Claudette Golpe and this is my concept paper presentation. To start off with, the three concepts I decided to write about are the communication accommodation theory, mainly focusing on gatekeeping since that theory has a lot I could pretty much write about and talk about. The uncertainty reduction theory and body language. And I decided to go with these three concepts because they were kind of easy to tie together and talk about in terms of like office work environments and also focusing on like the relationship between job candidates and human resource professionals or recruiters. Um, I think the concept I probably learned most about when writing this essay was probably the uncertainty reduction theory, which kind of states how strangers, when they first meet, pretty much do what they can to reduce uncertainty and kind of, I guess, know what to expect. Um, I think because I've never really thought about this before, it was kind of new to me in terms of when I learned about it writing this paper and also from class. Um, Writing this paper, I also kind of learned how we use it even before going into like interviews. So, for example, job candidates could go to a company website, read something like an about page, and get to know more about the company that they're applying to, um, versus like human resource professionals and how they can look into like job candidates' profiles or social media online to kind of see who they're inviting to interview. And I thought that was super interesting. um, in terms of like relationships that have stemmed from work, I've only really had experience with like friendship kind of work relationships. So, for example, right now I have a friend at work who is more in like the Spanish culture. He's Spanish. Um, and I'd say he's kind of like my work best friend. The similarity we share is we're both kind of older in terms of like, I guess, age in college, and we're both taking classes that relate to engineering and are kind of in the engineering field. The difference that we have, I guess, is gender. He's male, I'm female. I'd say I guess he makes work kind of easier. It's nice to have a friend at work, but also it's easy to kind of just go up to him and ask him questions about work if I needed to. So definitely makes work better and a lot easier. In terms of like, I guess customers and like experience with them and their cultures, I used to work at Disneyland, so I have a semi decent amount of experience. I guess dealing with people from other cultures, and I don't think I've ever really noticed or realized like one culture being easier to, I guess, communicate with or get along with versus another. Everyone was kind of pretty nice, and I don't know if that's just from being at Disney, but I think it more depended on like how that person's experience was that day or their mood versus how they were going to react and interact. So never really noticed if it was like a cultural difference on how I would get along with people. In terms of like romantic relationships, I've never had like experience with like a work relationship or anything like that. In general, most companies I worked for didn't really mind work relationships. So it was pretty much allowed as long as it wasn't getting in the way of pretty much work performance. Um, in terms of like a fourth concept I could have written about for my project, I probably would have written about proxemics. So proxemics is kind of how space is used in terms of communicating. And when it comes to like office or work environments, it's really easy to see proxemics used, especially when you see like cubicles or specific offices for like managers or team leaders. And as you can tell from me saying team leaders, you could have different teams who have their own area versus a team who have another area of like a building. And that in itself could have created its own little work culture. So that would have been good to write about. I guess in terms of like job candidates and human resource professionals, you could pretty much argue the whole idea of, I guess, human resource professionals or recruiters having their own room to take job candidates to for interviews. And yeah, that's pretty much what I probably would have written about. And thanks for watching my video.